Hello. Well, I have been contemplating about this thing for quite some time now, and let's see where this takes us through the length of this video. Well, as we move through life, we become obsessed with a certain activity or a certain topic in which we become heavily invested in, and we give it a lot of time. And one of the reasons we become so obsessed with this particular thing is to give us a sense of fulfillment. It helps us regulate our dopamine levels. Well, such hobbies, for the lack of a better word, and these are more than just hobbies, which we will talk about a little later. And such hobbies can include a heavy investment in a particular fandom like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, One Piece, or it could be something more active like martial arts, say, or even football or cricket. It could also be a fascination in a particular topic like history or physics or mathematics, or maybe an interest in obscure philosophers. And we become really obsessed with that, and we dedicate a lot of time into that, and we invest a lot of mental energy into that. And it does not remain just a hobby, it becomes a persona in itself. And that is why you see when someone talks about something they really like, well, you can see a certain glow in their eyes or on their face. It is like talking to a completely different person than the normal, regular person you see around. And that hobby itself manifests as a complete persona in you, which is a part of you. Not that it is expressed all the time, but it is there. And for this reason, we are awarded with titles like geek or nerd. And at other times when we are not talking about this particular field of interest, let's say, we can come off as being boring or rude or even arrogant However, if you see this same person in a different environment which prioritizes this particular hobby, you can come off as a completely different person, and the way you express yourself comes off as completely different. And that is what you see if you go to a Comic Con. A usually completely normal and, well, boring person that you may see in the social environment can transform into a completely different being. And most people are really surprised by this radical change in behavior. And in normal circumstances, if you were to express this side of yours, well, you could come off as being weird or eccentric, which people can find a little overwhelming unless you are someone famous. Then people want to be like you, but under normal, regular circumstances, you just come off as being difficult to be around, let's say. Because people can find it little difficult to understand as, well, at least someone who has, well, no idea about your interest or does not value it as much as you value it. Therefore, it is essential to find a way to integrate this persona into your regular self in a more regulated manner, so that it does not overwhelm the people around you. So how can one go about doing that? Well, it can be easy or not so easy, well, depending on you, your circumstance, your environment, and some other factors that can come into play as well. So the way in which you can go about doing that is looking at other situations through the lens of your hobby or interest. And if you do that, that provides its own flavor to that situation, and you can view things from a completely different perspective. Now, while viewing these other circumstances or your day-to-day circumstances through that lens, you can see things or focus on things that ordinarily socialized people can miss. And this particular thing can be a part of your charm. Now, obviously, you cannot do this 100% of the time. So it is up to you to curate those particular instances that can be called a common ground. So it is up to you to find common ground. So how does one go about finding this common ground? So we have genes, right? And all cells contain genes, and all organisms, from the most basic bacteria to the most advanced organism, humans, contain genes. And these genes are nothing but codes of information. And this information, while being transferred from one place to the other, can undergo deletion, insertion, inversion. So basically, it can undergo modification. However, the thing is that the most important information does get across, though it is modified in some ways or the other. And memes are the same things in essential. So memes are just, well, if you look at it objectively, it is just a picture or a series of pictures with some writing scribbled across it. However, people who have no idea about the source of that particular picture can also relate to it. And the word meme was in fact derived from the word gene. And memes are very good at transferring information from a particular group of ideas or a hobby to a completely different field and still make it really relatable. And so, from generation to generation, because of these modifications going on in genes, well, organisms have the potential to evolve. And memes do the same thing. If you observe a meme from the year 2012, it will be much different from a meme that you get to observe today. You can easily notice that the memes have become more complex in nature. Their format has, in fact, changed over the years. And even though the memes have become more complex in nature, people can still relate to it. So in essential, meme is not just a simple fad. A meme is in fact a technology that can transfer information, or at least the core of a certain idea, from one field to another. So if one was to try to take an original idea from, say, football, and create a meme that can be easily transferable to cricket. And you might say that can be easily done because both of these activities fall into the same category of sports. And the number of memes that you can make would be really large because you would find a lot of similarities between these two activities. But how about if you were to take activities that were more distant, like, say, football and cooking? The number of memes that you could make would definitely reduce. Of course, that's subjective to creativity, and, well, creativity knows no bounds. It is just a speculation at this point, not something that you could prove with hard data available to you. Now, if you were to try and link, well, football and business, then you would obviously find memes, or you could create memes, or even say yoga and, well, and the activity of writing. Or you could even have memes that, a meme that you could relate to a broader field, say, just cooking and the whole group of sports. Anyway, so I'm sure you understand where I'm going with this line of thinking. So what I'm trying to say is you can extrapolate a certain kind, or at least the core value of the information from one place and apply it to a different place, thereby making information transferable across fields. And therefore it is up to to find such meme-worthy facts or experiences from your hobby and apply it to a more general category. To start off, you could in fact scour the internet for memes regarding that particular topic of interest. But something much more profound would be creating your own ones. Now, of course, even if you apply something like this, well, it does add a lot of flavor to your personality, and it makes the way you think and relate more profound and makes you more integrated and more regulated to function in society. However, when you come across most people, you will maybe be able to relate 5% of the time, or 10%, or maybe 20%. And this is just speculative data. It's nothing quantifiable, let's say. Well, at least there hasn't been a test invented that can quantify such data. Or if there is, I'm not aware of it. So, well, if you can point me towards that direction, that would be helpful. And yeah. But however, there will be some people who will appreciate this perspective which you have to offer and this particular input that you provide, helping them see the world in a more broader way, giving them fresher perspective. And that person is going to appreciate your input, which you can, and only you can provide, because that particular thought will be your original thought, which originates from within you, and it is not something which you can just read about anywhere, because, well, the experience or the set of experiences of all people vary with time and place. And these people which appreciate your input will value you. And you will also learn new things from this other person, because if you are able to relate only 20% of the time, there is that other 80% of the time during which you can absorb newer information, thereby enriching yourself and your thinking. And also these people who value you, you will be able to find solace in their company. And they will appreciate you, and they will value you. And such a relationship will definitely last you longer than a relationship based on just common interests or things that you both like. Because at one point it's just going to get boring and you're going to lose interest. Because, well, familiarity breeds boredom. So the more familiar you are with something, you can get bored with it easily and lose interest. However, such kind of people who appreciate you for your unique perspective will keep finding you interesting. Now, of course, that doesn't mean you keep conversing and talking 24/7. That's just a no-no with anybody. However, every time, even if it's once a week or once a month or even twice a week or even once a year, well, whatever that may be, the value that you will gain from such a conversation will definitely be more exponential than normal, ordinary conversations. So, in conclusion, just embrace your weirdness, if that's what you want to call it, being weird, because people have put or have awarded you with this title. Or you could just call yourself you. You are not weird or rude or eccentric or arrogant. You are just you, being what you can do best. That is being you. Done.